The preceding podcast has been paid for by the PWO.
Hello, Christ on a cracker, Brock Lesnar. Pour my eardrum.
The pitfalls of live TV, my friend.
Tim, hello.
Hello.
It's been a while.
We're back, guys.
We are back.
We've done it again.
I had major surgery. Things have
Yeah.
changed. My body is not what it used to be. But
I'm still the same old, but whatever.
we are the PWO podcast.
We are the PWO podcast.
Back in prime time.
Better than ever. Ready to go.
24 hours away from the all-out pay-per-view.
Whew. Yep. That's why we came back here, guys. About a year. We're gonna get into this in another minute or two, but we're a year removed from All In, and we're getting ready for All Out. And not only that, but AEW. This is gonna be a hell of a ride. Mike, let's kick it off.
So Tim, real quick, how you been?
Dude, I've been good. Just personal life pretty good. Pretty good.
Good.
Not doing well. Doing pretty well.
Okay.
Historically for wrestling here, we are in a hell of a time, man. And this is what I'm really looking forward to. This is, our bread and butter, my bread and butter, at least for talking. And I'm giddy as a schoolgirl, getting ready to go back to school, coming up here after Labor Day. But here we are, a couple days before, celebrating it, the weekend, and we're gonna do it right this night. We're gonna do it right.
So we wanted to start today's show. Obviously, we're almost a year from the all-in pay-per-view that we attended.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
I was just shocked. It's been a year.
You what made the show?
Don't want me.
Almost a year.
Yeah.
From all in, and I figured we'd go back and look back at that show, what we thought it was at the time.
Yeah.
We thought it was monumental in terms of how large of an independent show it was, but looking now a year later, it's crazy where we've gone from an individual show run by a couple of wrestling entrepreneurs. Had a dream, had a challenge, more honestly, and now they have a major network TV deal with TNT. TNT's back in the wrestling business, baby.
Goddamn Ted Turner can't get away from it, right? And that whole thing. Oh my goodness, it could not be a better time to be a wrestling fan. I don't know what would be. Like you said, going back a year and reliving All In, and that whole, was just a phenomenon. And, was it a one-off? Was it not? And it was just some of the most amazing things.
Go back to then.
Yeah.
1 year ago.
Yeah.
Did you think anything like what we're seeing now would have come to a fruition?
No. I would have thought maybe they would do some of the other, shows that they've done, like Double or Nothing, and the Daytona Fight for the Fallen or whatever it was called, I believe. I could have saw that, sure. But to hear that they're getting a weekly series on primetime TV, I never saw that coming. Really, truthfully, never saw that coming. I think it's like I said a minute ago, it's could be not a better time to be a wrestling fan. We have options finally, for the first time in, God, I'm gonna say 15 years.
Surprised you're saying that. Surprised, because we know you did have your moments with TNA.
Oh yeah, but they were never at the level of competition. They were close. Their biggest mistake was going Monday night, trying to compete with WWE, and it fell flat immediately. And it's an alternative for sure. But maybe not as readily accessible as some of the other stuff that's out there today, such as New Japan and what have you. But yeah, TNA was never really... TNA could have been a significant competition or alternative, and it fell from the wayside at this point. So it's
I think they're an interesting alternative now. We can get into it at another show.
Yeah.
But especially what they're doing with the women's division. is piqued my interest a little bit,
well,
especially with Tessa.
No, I was just gonna say, talk about Tessa Blanchard. Go
Yeah.
go on your sidetrack.
No,
there.
I mean, I'm
know?
just impressed every time I watch her.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
Especially,
no.
seeing her for the first time at All In.
I don't disagree with that.
I had heard great things about her. Saw her; she was fantastic in that Fatal 4-Way that we saw her at All In.
Yeah.
Seen her in a bunch of independent shows she's been at, some of the intergender stuff she's been doing lately, and she can hold her own in the ring with anybody that she's in the ring with.
I don't discount that at all.
Yeah.
But and we'll see. Maybe they'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something in the air. There's something in the air, and there's I kind of get goosebumps even talking about it with this AEW, man. I don't know if it's the roster. Maybe we can get into this a little bit during the show today.
We're going to. Yes, absolutely.
And just there's just something there that's captivating, and maybe it's, a lot of it has to probably do with the fact that we were there this time this time a year ago, and we saw kind of the rebirth, if you will,
being part of it,
professional wrestling.
Being part of it.
So that's I just cannot wait. I cannot wait till tomorrow. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch it live. I'm hoping to watch it eventually. But it's going to be unreal. Another thing we haven't brought up yet. What are you doing on October 16th at the Leah Chorus Center?
October 16th, the Leah Chorus Center.
You want to go there or something?
Next time I was there, I saw a Muse concert.
A Muse concert?
That was
what the hell
14
is that?
years ago.
Oh,
They're an alternative rock band.
I gotta look that
they
one
used
up.
to be good. I used to like them.
I gotta look that one up. Muse. So there's something called AEW going there.
Really?
On TNT.
Are they on tour then?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Really?
they'll be there. I guess we got tickets.
We got tickets.
Yeah, we got tickets. We're gonna be there. Stop by. The PWO will be at the Leah Chorus Center October 16th. Miss us or forget us, whatever you want, but don't be late. That's my plug for the Leah Chorus Center.
So
AEW, check it out, guys. Wednesdays. Oh yeah.
So before we get into the
I'm a little ahead of myself.
Dynamic of AEW,
get excited.
Let's just real quickly go back to All In.
Yeah.
Thinking back on that show, what do you remember most?
Other than the $70 ride, Uber ride home,
or
no.
you cheating at checkers the day before?
You said you weren't going to bring that up.
I never promised that.
Oh, okay, all right.
And a Cracker Barrel cheating at checkers like a 5-year-old kid. It's pretty pathetic.
Maybe for some of our listeners who did not listen to our All In preview show, we drove down, Mike, myself, along with one of our producers, John. Unfortunately, Matt was unable to be there.
Imposter Matt
He was with us in what?
Imposter Spirit.
Yeah, well, yeah. And we stopped at Cracker Barrel the day before for lunch, for breakfast, and
Tim cheated checkers. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay, yeah.
He was making moves on a part of the board were not possible.
All right, you know what?
While John was taking a 30-minute dump in the Cracker Barrel bathroom.
Now that's twice you said. That's twice you said that. Something about that. All right. What?
But anyway, so I
digress.
In terms of the shenanigans,
Right.
The shenanigans.
Okay.
What do you remember about
Right.
the show, and what stands out to you? Especially as it factors into today and how we're going forward.
Just how everyone put their heart and soul, I truly believe, into that show, thinking it could be their last. Kenny Omega versus was it Pentagon, right? Mm-hmm. To me, that one was the one probably that stood out. Above all else. Last year and even almost till right now, I still believe Kenny Omega is probably, arguably, we can obviously argue all day about this, still the best wrestler in professional wrestling, in the sport right now, in the game right now. And that match with Pentagon was just phenomenal. Watching Cody win the NWA title, I try to be a rough and tough guy, but that one got to me for sure. And just the tears of joy watching him win it against Aldis, and the chants that were going on in the the arena that night, our section, in our row, in my seat. It was just an unforgettable night. And I've been to Monday Night Raws. I've been to
WrestleManias.
Well, yeah. I've been to Raws. I've been to Thunders. WCW Thunders. Never go to that again.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
Hold on. I think we have a revelation here.
I've been to a
I
Thunder.
had no clue
You didn't know?
you had ever been to a WCW Thunder show.
Yeah.
What in the world? Who'd you go with?
My parents. Yeah.
Mrs. X-Men
Mrs. A.
went
Mrs.
to
A, Miss-
you
yep.
made her watch a WCW fucking Thunder show?
Yeah, and we hate getting off
What
into
year?
the weeds here. 1998.
What day?
1998 in the Spectrum in Philadelphia, which is no longer there.
What was the exact hour that you went to that show?
The exact hour? Well, it was probably
What was
8
the main
to
event,
10. I believe the main event was Bill Goldberg versus member of the Flock, Reese. Yeah. You heard that right. You heard that right.
Well, now we know what our next watch-along show is going to be. WCW Thunder, live from the Spectrum in 1998.
Hey,
It's in the works, folks!
I'm all in on that one. No pun, or maybe there was some pun intended on that one.
Jesus
Maybe if we
Christ.
get one email.
You think you know somebody, and then
You
I
never
find out
knew
he's
that I
been to a
would-
WCW Thunder show.
All
25
right.
years of friendship, never found that out. Okay. All right.
Okay,
It is
all
what
right,
it is.
yeah, all right.
Anyway, so something I wanted to get
It
to
was an
real quick
unforgettable show. It's probably why I tried not to think about
burned
it.
into your brain. One more thing about All In I wanted to bring up. MJF, Tim.
Yeah,
we just watched a really hilarious clip from Starcast with him. Really up-and-coming heel persona.
Yeah.
I remember him being on that card. We were unaware of it at the time, and we jokingly were like,
who's
who the
this-
hell is this guy?
this dick?
And
Who's
really
this
weren't
dick?
high on him.
Who's this dick?
1 year later, he's definitely
Yeah.
been, like I said, up-and-coming in terms of just a real interesting heel for them.
Yeah.
Funny, but in a good way in terms of a heel. Not like...
He's getting the
Not-
right amount of heat,
Yeah.
and it's not over the top or cheesy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We sat here and watched the video from Starcast. I guess it was earlier today or yesterday, whenever it was recorded, and we were laughing, but nobody's in character at those type of things typically. And maybe I'm wrong, but just some of the fan interaction, fan fests, whatever they're called. I'm not going to call them Access because that's a different promotion. But some of those things, some of those interactions, you see the real personas of the wrestlers. They're genuine and they're there for the fans, which is what we obviously want.
Sure.
This guy is taking it to a whole new level. And he's in character. It appears like 24/7.
Yeah.
And I respect the holy hell out of
They
that.
do it right.
Yup.
When he turns on Cody,
Yup.
which, God, if they just do it right on TV, that could be gold.
Maybe they'll do it on October 16th at the Liacouras Center.
Maybe. Be too early, I think, though. Needs to be...
Maybe it'll be too early.
Needs to be a slower...
Do it the following week when we're not there. But no, seriously, in all honesty, he has come probably leaps over bounds, and he's definitely an intriguing character, an intriguing gimmick, and like you said, if they do it right, damn, they got gold.
I'd like to ask a question of our executive producer. I'm thinking about removing the word executive if he doesn't up his game. John Marie, you were at All In.
Your thoughts.
Thoughts a year later and where things are and your what you're feeling.
So can I ask, so that guy was at our show?
MJF, he was at our show.
Yeah.
Which,
Remember, he was the unannounced match, and we're like, who the heck is this
is
guy?
that when I was getting the pretzels?
I really don't
Oh,
know.
God.
It might have been.
We got the pretzel story back.
God forbid if that goes on social media, MJF finds out you're eating pretzels during his show.
I thought that was
Just
just the
gonna cut a
match
promo on
that,
your
like,
ass.
I don't remember really anybody talking about that match.
No,
after the
because
show.
I be honest with you, and I didn't do proper prep for this show. I can't
None of
remember,
us did.
Can't remember who he faced. It was
No, I
it was an
don't-
unannounced match.
Yeah, it was one of the second and third matches.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when I was
It's
getting
One
the
of those, like,
pretzels because
who done it,
I
guys?
was hungry, and I was checking the lines for the merch stand, and the lines were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I decided I foregoed.
Well, so regardless of you not seeing part of the show, what are
That,
your
well,
thoughts?
just the first match. Well, the first thing I remember is dropping the pretzel as I was walking. And I felt so
This is the
terrible
premium
about
content
the
you come
pretzel.
to our show for, pretzel talk.
Okay, so
How about the time you dropped
Okay.
a hot
Speaking of
dog at Heinz
so-
Stadium? Should we get into that?
and then you ate it,
You drop it in pretzel.
and then
That's right.
still lost.
I
the
don't
game.
waste food.
And that's when you fought with the Steelers fan in the stands. I remember that clearly.
We are
Fuck the Steelers.
We are brought to you this week by Annie's Pretzels.
All right, so
Fuck the Steelers.
Actual serious.
Whoa! Language. Early.
Probably. All right, so
Steelers.
I'll agree with that.
anyway, so I remember the first match that I was able to watch. I think was they had the pre-show, right? They had the
I just want to know your overall thoughts, John. I'm not asking for a match-by-match countdown here.
No,
what do you think a year from now? I'm just looking
Did
for a
you
retrospective.
enjoy yourself at All In?
It's probably.
This guy's trying to give me a fucking thesis.
We could move on if you'd like.
No.
I mean,
no,
I'm trying to
no.
trying to put you over, and you're just not getting yourself
We're
over.
trying to give you the rub, goddammit.
I mean, you want your own show one day, son. I mean, you got to step up to
Will you let
step to the plate.
Will you let me talk? Will you let me talk?
If you don't upset us, yes.
Did you just play something, Matthew? Because it didn't.
No,
play.
nothing came through.
Yeah, I
It's
apologize.
probably still the best show that I've probably been to. I mean, seeing Cody win the title was a really special moment. That one sticks out to me. Seeing Ray and Ibushi in the same ring when they both got tagged in and they were circling around.
Yeah.
That sticks out to me the most. That was just the moment which we never thought we'd ever see that.
Sure.
Ray in his Wolverine gear, obviously. I still think that Kenny versus Pentagon was the best match by far on that show. Not saying that the other matches weren't phenomenal, but I think that one, in terms of the length of the match and the spots in the match, it was the most consistent. Even though everyone was saying that the scroll match went over too long, that's why the 6-man got shortened. But when you're watching that match, it didn't feel like that because I think that was probably the most underrated.
And that match
on
was
that
still
show.
good.
That was a
stellar,
the Okada, that sold me on Scroll, and that was the first full Okada match I ever saw, and that sold me on him right away. So overall, even besides the matches, just that whole weekend that we had, just the atmosphere that was around that area.
Did you think we'd be where we are today?
What, in terms of
them having a broadcast deal? Did you think
if that show didn't work? No, they would have. If that show didn't work, it would have just been. I think it would have probably just been a one-off, and it's okay, at least we tried it.
Yeah.
It might not have worked out according to plan, but hey, just the fact that they were able to do it would have probably been enough for them. But since that show pretty much became like a viral show.
Yeah.
I remember at ESPN or some sports networks were covering it. They're saying that this is a monumental moment that these guys should not be ignored. So I think that show is probably in the last 5 or 10 years probably one of the most important wrestling events that we've had.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely agree. Absolutely
there.
agree. Yep. And we were there.
And the fact that we were there, and Matthew was repping in spirit in Hawaii.
Yeah. Somebody
But,
wanted to be a person of interest.
Moving on.
Anyway, so
Let's segue
All
into
Out.
something else.
So, AEW, last major show before they start hitting the airwaves on TNT every Wednesday night. Before we even get into the whole cable thing, tomorrow night, what do you think they need to achieve?
Oh God. Well, I mean, the simple or honest, answer would be they gotta establish some of the champions that they are. I guess the main champion, AEW champion, the world champion. That's probably the biggest thing. It's still gonna be work in progress. I think. I was at work the other night actually, and in our break room, the TV that was on, and they had a commercial for AEW. So they gotta get the eyeballs. They gotta get the eyeballs on it. And what is this for those of us who aren't in the know? Those hardcore wrestling fans who aren't aware of AEW, they got to establish themselves. I think being on Bleacher Report and some of the other outlets that they've been on have been very valuable to them. They need to have a very strong performance tomorrow night, and that's not just the guys and the girls who are competing, but as a company and as a whole, they need to maybe step it up a notch. I don't know how they do that necessarily.
Well, I'm looking at things like production value. Some setting some standards of how the show's going to look moving forward. You know what I mean?
But does tomorrow night really matter in the long run, or does really the first televised show matter
I think they should start setting up some stories, because obviously you're going to have some stories evolving from tonight.
What I'm worried about, obviously, it's still a television show and it's still a business, and you need the viewer numbers. I'm worried about the first show. Obviously, they're going to have big numbers the first show, but I'm worried about.
Well, I was going to kind of get into asking. Obviously, they're going to go into a weekly show. It's going to be a change for a lot of these guys who have not been part of that machine.
Yep.
You've got Cody. You've got Jericho, obviously, but Kenny Omega hasn't. A couple of the big players haven't.
The Bucks haven't really been.
Yeah, Bucks haven't. So they haven't. They're not used to weekly episodic wrestling television.
How are those guys going to evolve? Not just as performers, but as characters. And are they going to be able to withstand and tolerate? And how are they going to hold up?
And how deep
day to day, week to week? How deep is the roster?
That's my number one thing. Yeah, and I know Cody's kind of said, look, we haven't even revealed everybody that's joining. And they just announced Goldust. I don't know if you saw. They just announced him officially as a coach, and he's going to be performing.
He's probably going to be performing.
But how deep are they? Deep enough in the in the long run, or at least in the beginning, for 2 hours of television every week?
See, and here's where I think the difference will possibly turn out. I believe they can be, and that they are right now. Before we know whoever else could jump ship or jump aboard.
Sure.
The roster that they have right now could definitely withstand a 2-hour show every week, because I don't feel like, and this maybe I'm just hoping this, I don't feel like it's going to be an entirely sports entertainment type of broadcast.
We expect a more wrestling oriented product.
Correct.
Yes.
Which means these guys can go out week after week, not necessarily need a huge storyline or a huge, a lot of theatrics going on, and be able to keep someone's attention. So for those reasons, I believe they can withstand it, and I believe they can flourish.
Well, the one thing to question, obviously, it's not just a one team running with the ball on Wednesday nights, as we know now. NXT, which, hey, we're huge fans of the NXT products.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Been to a couple takeovers now, and they've been outstanding.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Amazing roster. They are now moving to USA and are going to be live instead of being on the network, still on Wednesday nights, but head-to-head. Vince is going back to war.
I got chills again when he just said head-to-head.
Yeah. So they're not messing
happening.
around. They're taking them as a serious threat.
Sure, absolutely. And I think they should. And they are. And I think it's a very good idea. Some of the things I was trying to formulate for this podcast, when this was one of them. I think it's a very good idea that WWE is putting NXT on Wednesday nights.
Yes.
Going up against AEW, as opposed to... Now, we already knew SmackDown was going to... But, let's just play devil's advocate here. But, let's say they moved Raw or something like that.
Yeah.
Or at the time, we didn't know when AEW was going to be on. So let's say... But I think it's still a great move that they're putting NXT on there, because Raw and SmackDown, that, they're there. They're kind of stalwarts, whatever it is. NXT is the best comparison and or competition to AEW.
I think it could be good for both companies. I think it could be beneficial for both of them, because you're creating a night that's for the more wrestling-oriented
Yes.
more hardcore wrestling fan. And I
And
think
you're-
both
and
companies
you're-
can
and
benefit
your
because then
Raws
you're
and your
creating a
Smack-
night.
Yes.
You're creating 8 to 10 on Wednesday nights is when I'm flipping channels and I'm finding what I want to watch. In
Yeah,
terms
what
of
the hell is
wrestling-oriented
normally
product.
on a Wednesday night
Yeah.
between 8 and 10 o'clock?
Everyone's saying that NXT could potentially be ruined going on TV, but now that I'm starting to think about it, it could probably be better because, I'm being completely honest here, I never really watch the NXT weekly shows.
I don't either.
Because the pay-per-views do such a good job of
Yes.
giving you what the story is through their packages that I don't feel like I need to watch because nobody says did you watch last week's NXT show.
And another thing that I kind of read a little blurb somewhere earlier this afternoon or whenever it was, there's some main roster guys in WWE who are apparently going to go back to NXT. Possibly, for this reason. And maybe, they're going to use this as a reason, I suppose. But, maybe guys who haven't been utilized,
God.
and...
Sami
and
Zayn back.
sure.
Not
yeah.
more.
Zayn,
And
Cesaro,
that's
if
gonna
they want it.
that's gonna boost NXT as the brand, and that's gonna boost the ratings.
Well, now,
And
does this officially signify the end of NXT being developmental? Or do you think WWE still treats it as developmental?
I don't think WWE has treated it as a developmental for a couple of years now. So, answer your question.
So
yeah.
you think it becomes more of a brand
It's-
where
it's-
they switch people and put them, just wrestling-oriented guys on this show?
This is probably a really bad analogy or comparison, but NXT is the third brand for WWE, like a Raw, SmackDown.
I think it should be that way.
And I said this is going to be a terrible comparison, but like what they tried to do with ECW back in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
That turned into a developmental thing towards the end.
Right. Well, they had OVW at that time.
Well, that was
but-
their
right.
developmental.
Right. Well, CM Punk, for instance.
Sheamus, and
Sure.
Kofi.
Yes, a
all
lot of those
debuted
guys
together.
got their start, quote unquote, in the ECW. So, yeah, I don't think that NXT is considered a developmental at this point, especially once they start going live in September. And think of it this way: they're kind of smart too. Give them the damn devil his due. They're going on about a month before AEW starts, so they're going to try to already attract an audience.
Yep.
Are they?
So now, and target an audience, and target the audience who we're obviously talking to, who you guys are listening to us for the most part.
Yep.
So they're already trying to grab a stranglehold on that audience, and
Now, what I'm wondering is this. How does this affect Raw and SmackDown? Man, I can tell you, I'm going to watch a lot of wrestling on Wednesday. I can't tell you if I'm going to watch much Raw or SmackDown. I'm going to be piqued. My interest is going to be piqued
Sure.
in the beginning, and I'm hoping those shows do well because they have a lot of wrestlers that I enjoy.
Well-
but, I mean, my viewership of both programs is down lately just because of the general lack of interest.
I think, and we go back to the announcements that we heard, a month or so ago, probably a little longer than that now, where Eric Bischoff was brought in to be a executive producer or whatever it was of SmackDown, and Paul Heyman's going to be on Raw, or the executive producer of Raw. I think you intertwine those, and I think that they're waiting. You're seeing changes if you do watch, like I occasionally do, weekly, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. You're seeing some subtle changes, and if you listen to the podcasts, not that we're shilling this or saying that these guys watch us, they obviously don't. But if you listen to some of the podcasts, especially 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson, and they said it's going to take it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a gradual progression and a gradual increase in his ability and in his role. So probably, of course, lo and behold, by October, he's going to be all, quote unquote, all in again.
So before we get back to AEW,
Yeah.
with the Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff hires, do you like the hires? What are your thoughts about the hires? Do you think it's the right move?
I think it was a desperate attempt on WWE's part. At the same time, I think they realized that they needed change. So it was probably a good idea. As far as it being Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff, could I come up with two better guys? I don't know. I don't pay that much attention to I try to, but I don't know enough, I guess, of how it actually, the chain of command, if you will. Obviously, we know everything goes through Vince, and then the trickle-down effect there. But how much power and how much influence are these guys really going to have? Could you and I do it just as good or better than Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff? Probably not, even though we think we have a lot of experience in the wrestling business. These guys have actually worked in the damn business.
We have the longest-running episodic every 5 months show of all time.
Oh, yeah!
That was the best chime-in that we've ever had for the pipe in.
Much better than last show, John.
Yeah, that was
last
much
show
better.
You were a little crazy with the
That
sound
was
board.
good. Yeah, that was very good. Yeah, so I mean,
You suck, you jackass.
I knew that was coming.
I knew that one was coming. I think it's it's going to be interesting. I mean, I do love Paul Heyman and some of his ideas, and I do love Eric Bischoff and some of his ideas. My big thing is how much stroke, how much power do they really, really have?
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, it's still WWE. At the end of the day, Vince McMahon is still alive, and he has the final say.
Yep.
So, if they want to go in this direction, but he wants to go here, where the hell do they meet?
How about NXT?
And that's where AEW can then capitalize.
How about NXT? Do you think that chain of command changes at all? Do you think it gets meddled with more now that as a broadcast deal? Is NXT going to be the same? Are you concerned?
Yeah,
at all?
no, I think they're going to try to stick to their formula and to what's worked. That's what's got them to where they're at now. And because of what we talked about a little while ago with, NXT probably being the best competitive brand for AEW, I think they're going to stick to what they have been doing.
Now, in terms of being a competitive brand, and I was thinking about this, because we talked about, we had looked about tomorrow's show for All Out. It's going to be around $50, $50 US for that pay-per-view.
For all of our fans in Canada,
while a
US dollars.
WWE pay-per-view is the low cost of $9.99 a month.
If you have the WWE network.
Do you think that's going to hurt AEW in the beginning? When fans have a chance to watch the TV free on television and then only have to pay $10 to watch a pay-per-view if they want.
It could hurt them, sure. Yeah, absolutely, it could hurt them. But if you wanna watch it, and you're what we talked about earlier, the hardcore wrestling fan, you're gonna get together like we were trying, like we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And you're gonna pile in 3 and 4 guys or however many, and you all pitch in $10. Duh. Yeah. And then boom, you got your $50 or $60, whatever it costs. Yeah, and you could eventually see them do some type of streaming, or I know deal or whatever it is. I don't know any of that worked really, but you could see that happen down the line. So I don't think it's something to really worry about. You have to start somewhere, and again, if you want to watch it, you're gonna dish out that much money, or you're gonna find a way to be able to watch it.
So let's get back to All Out, Tim. Who's going to be the heavyweight champion?
Ooh, got it.
Adam Page. Who do you think is going to be? And if you were playing Booker, who would you make champion?
Okay. So kind of 2 different questions there, but probably both of those answers. Adam Page, and we saw him last year at All Out or All In, excuse me, and in that match where it was a street fight, I believe, and we're like, oh god, it's just a street fight. We're gonna see what happens. It was fucking phenomenal, and he's got some chops. He reminds me. He's got some chops, and he's gonna be a hell of a talent.
Say Canyon.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Chris Kanyon. He's an innovator of offense.
Yeah, I know.
Adam Page.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, he's. But how the hell do you go against Chris Jericho, right? And
I don't know. How do you go against Chris Jericho?
You know, I think this kind of, you know, for their depth that we were talking about a little bit earlier, where are they going to go? You know, the thing that we didn't bring up was you know, Jon Moxley not being able to partake in All Out against Omega. So that's going to kind of screw up a little bit of their booking for a little while, at least until he's fully cleared, right? But back to the original thought here. I think they need to go with Jericho. And I think more so because those are again, we were talking about the eyeballs. And a lot of this podcast, what we've been discussing today is getting the eyeballs on AEW and how do they do this, how do they do that, and, you know, getting the fans to watch them. Taking absolutely nothing away from Adam Page. Not saying this at all. But Chris Jericho is one of your top tier guys, and he's an established guy.
Yep.
Whether you give him the belt for the 3-week period or 4-week period, whatever it will end up being, until, you know, the first title defense apparently at the Liacouras Center, October 16 in Philadelphia.
I think he should start out with a solid at least 3-month reign.
Whoever the champion is?
Jericho.
Jericho. You're going Jericho.
No,
yeah.
I think Jericho is the safe but logical choice.
Take them all with you!
He's the established star that people even casual wrestling fans know.
Yeah, sure.
You need to draw the casual fans too. You got to get their interest and pique their interest for Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
He's somebody everybody knows. He can talk. He can cut promos. You can have him cross-platform on all the other TNT shows very, very easily. He's the guy everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to...
And I think that goes right into him versus Omega. Right off the bat type of deal, you know, and, like, that would be freaking money galore right there. You know, take my freaking $50 right away.
Yeah.
If you're putting that on your next pay-per-view, I'll give it to you. You know, right there. And again, this is taking absolutely nothing away from Adam Page. I think he will be an AEW World Heavyweight Champion at some point. It could be tomorrow night by this time.
I just want to see
have
him build him to that.
Yes, build him there. Get him there.
Because not enough, he doesn't... It's just not...
He's not a household name.
Yeah, he's somebody you build through weekly episodic programming. You build his story, people learn about him, vignettes. That's
and you get behind him. And you get behind him.
Yes.
There you go. So, you know, I think you got to give it to the grizzly old veteran in Jericho, and then you said whether it's Omega, whoever they want to go with in the future. Wouldn't be surprised if you see Cody, you know, soon getting a push, but you never know. You know, so I think the right way to go, and if I'm booking this, you know, and it's gonna sound like, oh, I'm a WWE guy. No, for the reasons we just discussed. You give it to Jericho. He's the established guy. Nobody bitched and complained when Hulk Hogan won the WCW World Title from Ric Flair when he jumped ship from WWE in 1994. Hogan was the established guy, and that made WCW. You give the title to Jericho, AEW is made.
How many legitimate candidates do you think they have on the roster right now for the World Heavyweight title? Believable candidates for the World Heavyweight title.
Sorry, guys, I'm counting the names right now on my hand.
You can say them out loud.
Oh yeah, sure. Obviously Jericho.
Yes.
Page, I don't know if he's there yet.
Okay.
But I mean, if you want to include
but eventually,
him, sure.
Even guys who you can say eventually.
So you're talking like the somewhat
are
top
there
tier.
now, or with a build, or you think can be there?
So talking Jericho, Page, Omega for sure.
Yep.
And again, this is not in order by any stretch of the imagination. It's guys I'm thinking
Cody.
of. Cody.
Moxley.
Pentagon. Yeah, that was my fifth guy.
Okay.
Moxley.
Oh shit! Yeah.
6.
Once Moxley's healthy and ready to go, get better, John. We're praying for you. And I'm trying to draw on the blank on the rest of the roster, unfortunately, right now. But those are probably your top my top.
I think that's your top 6 right there. Yeah.
Do you do this is going to be, I'm probably going to get called bullshit on this. You guys are going to call bullshit on this, but Christopher Daniels, and he's at the towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
But God, I love him. Respect the hell out of him. I could see him maybe having a shot at it. Probably not, but
the guy that that's hit Cody with a chair shot.
Sean Spears.
Oh yeah, perfect 10. Sean Spears.
Oh, God.
Newly married. Congratulations, Sean.
Oh yeah, congratulations, Sean. Bastard.
Speaking of Sean Spears, have you been watching his vignettes?
I have not watched the vignettes, but
Tully.
I need to because that I'm a huge mark for Tully Blanchard.
Yeah. They're a nice combo there. I like them.
And
I like
so
Sean Spears' new look.
I need to go back and look that up. Look those up. Yeah, the look, he does look good.
Yeah.
Looks very good. Mm-hmm. And, he's going to bring it. I don't know if he's a world championship caliber at this point. But, could I see him maybe a year or so down the line? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he's a top-tier guy, in that co-main event type of thing, like he's doing with Cody. I never really got into him in WWE. I know we're not talking about that necessarily, but I never got into him then. So I need to see more of him here to really have a full assessment of where I think he could go. But if Tully's with him, guys, Tully Blanchard, man, if you guys have not seen this guy, you're missing something. Go back to the 80s, WCW.
What would you start with? His feud with Flair?
Magnum TA. You talking Tully Blanchard?
Yes.
Magnum TA.
Magnum TA to start.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, that just unreal. The Starrcade match.
Flair.
What?
Yeah, no, it's not what I was thinking. I don't know why I said that anyway.
Oh, I'm trying to think of it. I don't recall that, but anyway. You were thinking Magnum TA.
No, Harley?
We're gonna have to think about this later. But
go
go to the network, guys. This is not a plug for WWE Network because they don't sponsor us. Nobody sponsors
Cracker
us.
Barrel does.
We do our own
We
thing.
have a sponsor.
We do have a sponsor?
Step into a Slim Jim!
Oh shit!
And now we're getting sued. All right, guys. But seriously.
We're also brought by
Tully. Am I gonna get
my
this in?
favorite chip. I just want No, I really need that. Ruffles, man. These flaming hot chips. They're fucking outstanding. I eat a bag every 2 days. A whole bag. They're just flaming hot and I love them. Please buy our products. I've got a hard dick.
And
for
with
Ruffles flaming hot.
I was just gonna say, and with that, how big is Batista's dick?
Yeah, the cream of the crop.
Go back and watch Magnum TA versus Tully Blanchard. I'm gonna get this damn thing in before it's all said and done.
Something, Mean Gene?
WWE Network, $9.99. Tully Blanchard, Magnum TA. I believe it was 1985, 1986. Go watch it. You won't regret it. The I Quit match from Starrcade. Outrageous.
Phenomenal.
Ooh, yeah!
Ooh, yeah!
Oh, my lord.
All right. So, All Out. Again, I'm looking for production value. I think that's something where
they need to stand out, right?
Yeah, they have to stand out in terms of the presentation. Because they have to differentiate themselves. Now, I don't know if you saw the recent hire they made.
Which one would that be?
CFO.
Are you going to...
Are you familiar with his work? The guy who was creating all the themes for NXT.
No.
Was recently just hired by AEW.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, here we go.
So they're clearly...
And they say it's not a war. Get the fuck out of here.
Committing some money into the value of their production.
Okay. So
no, go ahead.
My question was, I saw Tony Schiavone's a part of AEW.
He is.
What is he doing?
I don't think it's...
That. Do we know that yet?
He might be announcing it on StarCast today. I know he's on stage with Jim Ross.
If he's going to be with Ross,
right
that's like
I don't
either than a...
Yeah, they were saying he was going to be in a 3-man booth with him and Ross and
I forget
Excalibur.
Okay.
But then I'm hearing that's not true. So I don't know. He might be doing.
Tune in to All Out and find out what the hell Tony
He could be a
Schiavone-
jack of all trades. I would imagine him being like
all right, cool.
type of interview type guy.
I dig
promo
it.
package.
I dig it.
But hey, he's fucking Tony Schiavone, and
Yeah.
I love him
Yeah,
to death.
exactly. He's better than
fucking the man.
better than Scott Hudson.
So
Eric should have kept Tony Schiavone. Oh, you did. But anyway, whatever. What do you got next, buddy?
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. Needs to be a good show. Needs to send a message, I think.
Oh,
NXT.
Absolutely.
NXT, though. So, what do we got? Gargano and Adam Cole leading the charge?
Yeah, you know, to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't been keeping tabs on it, but, yeah, I mean, you know, Adam Cole, baby. Johnny Gargano, was there a whole thing? Is he still with them? I know. Saw the ending of one of the NXTs, and it was like, oh, thank you, Johnny.
Yeah, that's
still with them?
everything
Oh,
in
okay.
their promo
Right, so that was basically apparently the past 7 takeovers has been the end of Johnny Gargano. Okay, all right, so it's been the same fucking thing. All right,
still there.
Triple H got to step your game up if you're ending all your fucking takeovers with "Thank you, Johnny." Just saying. All right, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
God damn it, Hunter!
Just
you
me.
and your critiques
Paul.
of flat asses.
No, let's not call him Hunter. Let's call him Paul. It's really Paul Levesque. Let's really stick the knife in the twist the knife. That's not my fucking flat ass like CM Punk has.
What? I like flat asses.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah,
We're gonna have to cut that for a soundboard.
yeah we got it. I like flat
Very
asses.
good pull. Didn't know
right.
we had that. This is from Ninja Turtles 1 for all you marks.
And we're going off the rails.
All right,
No, what
so
else you got?
Wednesday Night Wars. What else are you gonna say?
It's time, man. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's been what? Legitimately, we're in year 2019, so it's been 18 years. Hell, I'll go. It's been 20 years since there's been a legit war. Because when WCW was still around in 99 and 2000 and in early 2000, it was freaking trash and garbage. So it's been a good 20 years since we've had a wrestling ratings war.
I just
easy
want
for me to say on our hands.
them all to succeed. That's all I want. I don't want anybody to go
Yes!
out of business.
No.
Product as
That
possible.
that is not the premise of this podcast. We are not trying to. Yes, we rag on WWE a lot because that was the only thing going up until about a year ago, kids. But you know, we don't want anything to go away. We want it to flourish. We are pro wrestling fans who have been through this through thick and thin for many more years than we really want to admit at this point in our lives.
Getting old.
So, yeah, you are.
I feel it.
I'm older than you. Never mind. And we are at the point now where we just want to watch great professional wrestling. Screw the sports entertainment shit. We want it. We want it. We want it. Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, all those guys for giving us this option, giving us this platform to talk about it. Right? What the hell was that?
No, I'm just thinking. to
No, you're
myself.
thinking. You want me to keep going?
No.
No.
I feel it's a good time to plug our social media.
Yes. Social media is important.
This will be an understatement, but we have seen a record low number of social media outpouring from our fans, and I'm disappointed in all of you. Our email, prowrestlingoutlaws@gmail.com. We have not received any emails besides phishing. So I'd like to see an email. Twitter.
I
Twitter.
believe you're gonna be having my fist down your throat.
On Twitter, all caps, the PWO podcast. On Instagram, which apparently we have Instagram now.
We got Instagram now. We're legit.
Pro Wrestling Outlaws, and our Facebook. Just search for Pro Wrestling Outlaws Podcast. If this show continues to stay off the, on the rails, I should say. It
we'll be back,
on Facebook. So we'll see how that works now.
Yeah.
Our producers, how quickly they get that shit up. So, good time, I think, to bring up. Let's go into SmackDown.
Yeah. Oh my god, I
Huge.
forgot about them, yeah.
Huge Fox deal, Tim. Going to be airing on Friday nights.
Yeah,
Obviously
yeah.
under the new direction. new kind of pressure, I think, for WWE right now. Because major network television now. We're not, not playing around.
I mean, the last time they were probably on major network television was they did those Saturday Night Main Events a couple, when they relaunched
NBC?
that.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, NBC. And they relaunched that in the early or the mid 2000s, and they did several, not all every week, but they had like specials, and so that was the last time they were actually on major, like you said, national TV. Yeah, I mean, there's no running now, right? Like, I mean, they gotta not just SmackDown, but WWE in general. They gotta step the game up because, Fox ain't gonna put up with bad ratings, and there's a reason why they're there. But I never saw that deal coming, right? I know they announced it quite a while ago, but they need to. It's gonna be an interesting time. The reason we did this show was because of the direction that wrestling's going, right? And we talked about AEW, we talked about WWE, NXT, and all these changes. And Friday nights on Fox. Now some people could say what's the hook there? Like if Friday you go on Friday night on any channel, you're there to die type of thing. Which is when SmackDown several years ago went back on went to Friday nights. And it kind of fell off. So, what can they bring, being they, WWE, pronouns, pal? Thank you, Bruce Pritchard. What can they bring to the table and be a contributing entity to Fox? Can they do it? We don't know. The only thing that I know is how many times on Sunday during football are we going to see commercials for freaking Friday Night SmackDown?
I think it's going to be a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
A ton.
And they wonder why we drink. They wonder why I drink. They wonder why we drink.
So before we wrap it up, I'd like to make you aware first that despite our lack of social media following, apparently our last show got how many views?
87.
87 views. Thank you, 87 people.
Either our moms
I hit the
are
button
watching
like
the
7
show
times.
80 times.
I hit the button like
I
7
just learned
times.
today that my wife doesn't watch the show. She didn't even know that our last show was.
I still love you.
I was on camera. Anna, I love you.
I love you too.
Why do
we
you hate
love
me?
you. We love you. We love Luca too.
Luca.
Am I allowed to say his name on the air?
Yeah, he's my
All
pride
right,
joy.
I did that. Okay,
My
I didn't know
little
if I was allowed to
2-year-old
say.
boy says his letters every day. I love you.
Sweet
So
dreams.
we do have other viewers.
There are other viewers.
We have
Thank you,
fans
guys.
of the show.
Thank
or
you,
friends
guys.
of the show, I should say.
Friends.
A little shout out
Thank you, guys.
to friends Ed and Dylan.
Ed
who
and Dylan.
Yeah, Ed I've known for several years through my brother-in-law Pat. Shout out Pat, who will be joining us at the AEW show in October. And his son Dylan also is a huge wrestling guy, and he's gotten Ed back into it. Ed used to go to all the old ECW shows back in the day.
I remember you
2300
talking about
Arena.
this now. Okay.
So we are looking forward to possibly having them on the next show. But I just heard around Rumorville that there might be a Beat the Yanksman challenge, and we might have to bring back that segment. Maybe have an ECW themed Beat the Yanksman between you and Ed, or maybe even get Dylan involved with some of his knowledge.
I kind of like that idea.
So maybe we'll throw the father-son gauntlet at you.
All right, bring it on.
So you guys better be ready. So
I'll-
shout out to you guys, and thank you for everybody who does watch the show. Anna, I love you.
Let me tell you something, Ed and Dylan. This is the American dream, just the Rhodes talking to you. This ain't Tim talking to you. It's the American dream. And if you want to come on my show and think that you can beat me, you think you can beat the Yanksman? I'm so sweet. Like yesterday's milk. I'm going to throw you out like yesterday's garbage, baby. Because I'm a leader. And when I'm a leader, you see everybody behind you, they are followers. And when you're a follower, the view never changes, baby. The view never changes, baby. The view never changes. And if you think you come into my house and take my food off of my plate, let me tell you something. You ain't nothing but egg-sucking dogs. And when I see you again on the PWO podcast, we gonna get funky like a monkey, baby.
You forgot the polka dots.
Bring it on.
So
You know why? Because my polka dots.
So to sum it up, Tim is saying,
Come on in! We're nightmares on the best part of my day!
Pretty much. Just so you know, if you want to admit to watching our show, Tim will personally cut a promo at the end of each show now on our viewers.
I will be more than happy to do that. Yes, sir.
So that's pretty much a wrap. Hey, nice return show. I think this was a pretty damn good show.
Hey guys, we are just about out of time here.
Yeah.
We are about 30 seconds away.
If you
The
have
AEW
listened, if you have listened to the end here, if you email us at prowrestlingoutlaws@gmail.com, be the first person to email that. You will get a $5 gift card to Best Buy. You can buy, I don't know, a pencil, something. We will personally hand you a $5 gift card. First person to email us.
Shaka Khan.
We're out.
Enjoy
Peace.
All In, guys. All out.